I had thought that I would carry out my research more on vaginal pH, and because again our country lacks awareness about self hygiene, and infections are vaginal infections are very high in number. So I thought that I would want to go ahead with a research in that, but because of the limitations and the restrictions we had in the college, I couldn't conduct that research. So that's the reason I came down to dental plaque, because after vaginal infections, dental plaque is something which is very common, and people are not aware about flossing and everything, like maintaining oral health. So this was another topic which interested me, and that's the reason I selected this topic.
Okay, in fact, I find the topic that you could have chosen very interesting.
Yes.
What are some of the major reasons that you would say that vaginal health is something that needs to be addressed more in this country? And this is just something that came in my mind. Is it something to do with a lot with the temperature also? Because ours is a very humid climate. Is that one of the contributing factors, or it's a lot of things?
Yes, that is one of the contributing factors, but along with that, it's personal hygiene, which is a very important factor that contributes to the increase in vaginal infections. Again, the very basic reason that this is occurring is because of the lack of awareness that people have. If you of course you're very well aware of the fact that the rural areas are places which are extremely susceptible to these infections. Again it's because of the hygiene level, the water that is used. So this is something which is lack of awareness is something which is the main problem that contributes to a high number of vaginal infections, along with of course personal hygiene.
Okay, so what happens, like what are the dangers of neglecting something as important as your vaginal health? Like what could go wrong?
So cancer is something which is the first hit, or the first thing that comes after if vaginal health is not taken care of. Along with that, urinary tract infections is again something which comes under it tops the list. These two things are the main derivations, I can say, if vaginal health is not looked out for. And it's very important that we raise awareness on this. And again, this is something which is a very underestimated topic. Cervical cancer is one of the derivations of not taking care of vaginal health. So yeah, this is something which should be considered.
What are some of the things that can be easily implemented or changed, especially in a country like ours, and especially in the rural areas? For instance, one that I can think at the top of my head is the taboo and the stigma around periods, and the fact that a lot of people don't have access to even pads, sanitary pads or tampons.
Yes,
so
correct.
That is one. And is that a factor? Firstly, that's my first question. Is that a factor in deciding your vaginal health? And secondly, what are some of the things that can be done to maintain, like what is a perfect routine, or like what are some of the must-dos to maintain good vaginal health?
So is that a factor? The answer to your question is yes, that's a very important factor. So this stigma around periods and everything, people in the rural areas, it's not paid attention to. Instead people are ill treated. Those people who get the periods, they are ill treated. That's very silly actually, but unfortunately this is again because they are not aware of what are the specifications of what can happen if this is not considered. I think using not having access to sanitary napkins, tampons, it's very obvious rural areas would not have access, but the least that they can do is at least use clean clothes. When I say clothes, I mean something that will prevent the spread of the blood that you get when you are in your menstrual cycle. So at least use of clean products is something that can be encouraged. I think that can be found anywhere. Another thing, factors that may help to contribute to maintaining vaginal health is making sure that you use products that balances the vaginal pH, because something that is again something which is very important. When you're just in the so before you start getting your periods, the vaginal pH changes, which again makes the vagina very susceptible to yeast infections. Yeast infections are something which is very, very bad for the vagina, and overall it causes urinary tract infections. So using products that will help you maintain your pH of the vagina, make sure that vagina is always cleaned every day, twice, thrice, how many times. One thing which should always be forbidden is the use of harsh soaps, because that is something again that disrupts the pH of the vagina, and if the pH falls more than the normal pH, that also contributes to the susceptibility of getting urinary tract infections, because if the pH falls more, the harmful microorganisms are attracted to that lower pH and they begin to grow and in turn cause a disease. So these three are the most important things that may contribute to vaginal health.
I'd like to mention that the reason why vaginal pH is so important is, firstly, that's how vaginas have been created by nature.
Yes.
The reason why they have alkaline pH is because sperm is acidic.
Yes,
and
exactly.
it is designed to, the vagina is designed to kill the sperm that
Yes.
enters. Yeah.